then it finally became October. Just try and look out there. All of the monsters just lurking in the shadows, waiting to get you. You two, really? And I suppose you're here to try and talk me out of it.
I'm trying to at least find out what's going on. I've already talked to Fear Fan Sophie and to the horror guru. I can't find the film Renegado, and somehow you seem to be in the middle of it.
Why must you always be so full of questions,
It's the name.
What do you know about Dracula?
What?
Oh, you know! Dracula! The most iconic vampire figure there ever was, the king of all vampires. He simply just is Dracula. That shadowy figure who first made his appearance in Bram Stoker's classic novel from 1897, and to this day still sets his influence in how vampires are viewed and conceived as a whole. Multiple times in the silent era this story was turned into films, and even more times it was turned into several stage shows. However, as the sound movies were invented, it so happened that a new sound adaptation of Dracula would become one of the most influential movies of all time, creating the visual quotes that would later become clichés. When you think about what a cliché horror movie looks like, you are actually thinking about this movie. This movie and Frankenstein, but that's first in another couple of days. Even if you have never seen this movie, you still know what it looks like. You still know of the visual clues we still have to this day imprinted on our collective mindset.
Now, that may all be very interesting, but what does that have to do with what happened?
Well, you wanted to know how it started, right? Right? Well, then listen. It started 3 days ago with a call. Hello, hi, Joshua.
Oh, hi. Good to hear from you.
Are you in a mental asylum?
Wait, you can hear that from talking on the phone?
What happened? You were fine when you first joined this site. Did Batman and Robin really break you that bad?
What are you talking about? I feel great!
Yeah, sure. That is why you are in a straitjacket, because that is usually what happens when people are fine.
Huh? You don't know, wouldn't you, Sophie?
I have no idea what you mean by that. Are you sure that you are fine?
Oh, great! Better than ever!
The first person we meet in the movie is the character of Renfield, who is on his way to Count Dracula's castle in Transylvania. As the coach stops there and Renfield announces that he is going on, the villagers have this to say.
To the castle? Yes. No. You mustn't go there. We people of the mountains believe at the castle there are vampires. Dracula and his wives. They take the form of wolves and bats. They leave their coffins at night and they feed on the blood of the living.
Well, very comforting words, but as is the rule of these movies, if a place is supposed to be forbidden or cursed, somebody's probably going there.
Hi, Count Dracula, hi! You saw Joshua recently, didn't you? And I was just wondering, you wouldn't have any idea of what happened to him if something happened to him, would you?
No.
Okay, you know, it just never hurts to be sure. Of course, Renfield goes along and meets up at Dracula's castle, where the Count meets him on the doorstep.
I am Dracula.
No suspicious behavior here.
Listen to them. Children of the night. What music they make.
Absolutely no suspicious behaviors whatsoever.
Everything is in order, awaiting your signature.
None whatsoever.
Care for a bit of brandy? It's my only weakness.
No, don't mind if I do.
And then El Santo jumped in and kicked Dracula's butt.
What?
What?
In the movie, in Dracula. That's how we dance, right? Santa jumps in and saves the day.
Who is this El Santo you speak of?
Some Mexican guy the Renegado is always talking about. I have no idea. Renegado, please do scramble. We are kind of in the middle of something here.
But can't I stay?
Renegado, scramble.
I just wanted to be part of the story. Jesus Christ. Why did you keep treating me so badly, Sophie? Oh, no.
I know the feeling.
In the movie, though, a ship shows up at the English coast. Although everybody in the ship just happens to be sort of dead. Everyone except one. Renfield, whom looks...
It's my only weakness. My only weakness.
Then we meet Jonathan Harker, his wife Mina Harker, and her friend Lucy at the opera, where Count Dracula appears to greet them. Also, he has this to say.
To die, to be really dead, that must be glorious.
Yes, that is indeed the guy to trust. He moved into the house just beside Lucy's, and in the night she gets a strange visit. And then she's dead. That was sad. Her father, naturally upset over this, figure it might be something supernatural, and calls in his old friend Dr. Van Helsing from Europe.
He's gone for hours. Where does he go?
See, you know he's from Europe because his accent can't be defined. Shut up. My accent happens to be genuine. Edward Van Sloan was an American actor. And well, Van Helsing comes and rather quickly gets to a very logical conclusion.
Gentlemen, we are dealing with the undead. Nosferatu. Yes, Nosferatu.
Wow, he got to that conclusion pretty fast, didn't he? I mean, oh my god, she's ill. Must be a vampire. His suspicions are, of course, also helped quite a bit along by Renfield, whom has this to say.
A red mist spread over the lawn, coming on like a flame of fire. And then he parted it. And I could see that there were thousands of rats, with their eyes blazing red, like his, only smaller. And then he held up his hand, and they all stopped. And I thought he seemed to be saying, rats, 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 thousands, millions of them, all red blood. All these will I give you, if you will obey me.
What's wrong with rats? They're delicious. They go well with some juicy juicy spider soup, a little bit of fly wine, and of course, raw pigeon for dessert.
Joshua, are you sure that you're okay?
I'm in a mental institution. Of course I'm not okay.
Ah. Van Helsing now for certain knowing, because again that is the logical conclusion, that there is a vampire at large, starts speculating, whom could it be? Who could it possibly be out of these people? Who could be a vampire? I mean, it's just, who could it be?
Van Helsing, a most distinguished scientist, whose name we know, even in the wild Transylvania.
Who could it possibly be? Do you have any idea, Count Dracula?
Oh, none whatsoever.
Really? Do you mind if I ask you something?
Of course, my dear.
Are you really a count, or do you just use the title because it sounds fancy?
Oh, you're so adorable. Get on with the review.
Greetings. I am the Count. They call me the Count because I love to count things.
Alas, Van Helsing and Dracula has their infamous confrontation, where Helsing exposes the vampire.
A moment ago, I stumbled upon a most amazing phenomenon. Something so incredible, I mistrust my own judgment. Look.
Wait a minute. Wait a minute. I got it. I figured it out, eh?
And then El Santo jumped in and kicked his ass, right?
Renegado, I had a dramatic moment going on here.
Do that one more time and I'll bite your head off.
Oh, come on, you wouldn't really do that, would you?
Oh, yes, you will. Shut up, Uncle Vardy! Nobody cares about what you have to say.
Dracula, however, angered by this, swears his revenge and decides to make Mina into one of his brides, and thereby kidnaps her to his castle. Of course, then there is little else to do than the final confrontation, where Van Helsing and Jonathan Harker storms the castle and manage to capture Dracula while he's helplessly asleep in his coffin. And, well, that's the end of the story, really. What can I possibly say about this movie that will justify it? It's a classic among all of the classics, a stable mark for what we later come to think of when we think classic horror or just classic horror cliches. The story itself is actually rather simple and straightforward. It never really runs a round corner with anyone, but very simply tells about the battle between good and evil, only with a darker streak than the usually good and evil battle, which is of course what makes these stories so compelling. Does it really matter what I say about Lugosi's performance as Dracula? Does it? Does it matter if I say if it's bad or good? The matter of fact is that Lugosi has now become Dracula. His voice, his mannerism, his looks has now become the way we'll all picture the classic Dracula. Therefore, he simply is Dracula. Edward Van Sloan too delivered the performance that will mentally imprint in us what a Van Helsing character is supposed to be like. The stand out for me though has to be Dwight Frye's Renfield. I just love this actor. I truly do. Just look at him.
Yes, I heard something. Enough.
This is just one of those movies any classic horror film fan just have to watch at some point or another. You just have to. That was nice to review that movie. Becoming rather late though, so... Night guys, I think I turn in.
Hey, that's cheating! There's no El Santo in this movie! Why didn't Santa just show up and save the day?
So who is this El Santo guy? He sounds pretty cool.
Oh, so glad you asked. He's